Greetings, everyone. I'm Mar, and once again, this is my opinion, as you can tell from the title. Today, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the 2005 comedy, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Now, believe it or not, up until recently, I had never seen this movie. I mean, I love a good comedy. It's just one of those ones like, I don't know if I'll find it that funny or not. I just remember a lot of the controversy when it first came out due to the subject matter and a teacher getting fired for showing the film to her class. When I heard that, when I was in cinema literature, I couldn't help but laugh. Like, really? You showed this film to your class? What made you think that was a good idea, even if you had parental permission? But that's a teacher for you. Sometime they will do that. The film is directed by Judd Apatow and it stars Steve Carell, Catherine Keener, Paul Rudd, Romani Malco, Seth Rogen, Elizabeth Banks, Jane Lynch, among others. And all in all, I enjoyed the film. I mean, some of the comedy moments I didn't really laugh at, but most of the jokes I did. I thought it was pretty funny. Definitely a comedy I wish I had seen earlier, but thanks to Netflix, I managed to watch it. Now, for those who don't know, the plot of the film is we got Steve Carell's character Andy, who is 40 years old and, as the title suggests, a virgin. He works in a store that is supposed to be a stand-in for a place like Circuit City. And for those of you who have never heard of Circuit City, I'm sorry. Circuit City or Best Buy. He works in the back. His co-workers are David, played by Paul Rudd, Jay, played by Malco, and Cal, played by Seth Rogen. One night, they decide to go out and play cards, and they start talking about dating and conquests, and they manage to get out of Andy that he has never had intimacy with a woman. And given how I am, I can understand Andy and his whole reasoning for why it just never happened, being awkward, even though he was good looking, decently built, just being awkward around women, getting self-confidence issues, and just being like, I don't know now. Well, his buddies decide that they're going to try to get him laid, and that's essentially the plot in a nutshell. Their various attempts to try to get him laid, Andy not liking all of them, and then eventually him finding his own love interest in the character Trish, and it going from there, highs and lows from the other characters, them doing other attempts, drama with his relationship, drama between the other characters in their own relationship, especially Jay's with his wife, because that character is essentially the type of guy who he has as a girlfriend, but then he keeps having women on the side. It's the type of guy that when you hear that, you're like, come here, and you want to smack him upside the face. Seth Rogen's character, kind of the type of character you expect him to play, a guy that's obsessed with pot. Paul Rudd, nice. He does get a little bit sorry for himself at one point in the film when he's single again. Steve Carell, this is, from what I understand, his breakout movie role, and he does a decent job. You do kind of like him. If it wasn't for the type of comedy and the name of the film, this is the type of character you would expect someone like Adam Sandler to play, to the point where it's the type of character he always plays. But Carell, he played it pretty well, and the fact that he actually did get reasonably fit kind of goes with his social awkwardness to where you could tell that's the only reason he's never been with anyone. And the way he plays off his reaction to his coworkers' attempts to get him to have sex, and then his reactions to all the attempts around him, it's like, ooh, well, he's doing pretty good. And the house that his character lives in, I'm like, I wish I had all that stuff. I mean, he had different Universal Monster toys, memorabilia. It's like, if I had my own house, that's probably how I'd have one of the rooms set up. And I'd probably hear a couple people going, nerd. And my counter is, so, I like displaying my stuff. Judd Apatow's direction was pretty decent for this film. I'd have to... This is the only one of his films I've seen. He followed us up with Knocked Up, and then, of course, Funny People. Films that, looking at the trailers, is like, I don't know if I'll like these ones, but I'll probably give them a shot one of these days. I have a feeling Trainwreck I probably will not like at all, but who knows, I might be surprised. Uh, what are the gags that I think were the funniest in the movie? I have to say, if there's one that stands out to me just because of how ridiculous it is, it's the condom gag, where his character does not know how to put on a condom. Just looking at him like, really, dude? I mean, I don't really want to get into much personal stuff with this comment, but it's like, it's not that hard. And I don't mean that as a double entendre, by the way. But it really is played up for humor there, and it leads to a little funny moment after that. Of course, there's a gag from the trailer everyone remembers with the hair being waxed. Which, just watching that, it's like, I am glad that's one aspect of Native American stereotypes that my genes actually do adhere to, because I would not want to go through that waxing. Overall, like I said, decent, funny comedy. Not my favorite one, but definitely one I can see myself rewatching every now and then. Definitely comes with my recommendation for at least one watch. Sorry this isn't a super in-depth review, but not really much else to talk about. It was funny, I enjoyed it, I thought the characters were likable, thought it was pretty well paced. I mean, there were some moments where I wasn't really chuckling, but that happens a lot of times in comedy. Sometimes you'll find stuff funny, sometimes you won't find stuff funny. If I were to give it a rating, I'd say I'd give it at least a 3.5 out of 5 stars.